Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're back in Bedrock, and that is because beta 1.20.020 has now released. Before we jump into this, I do quickly just want to say I am currently ill. I have a really bad cold, so bear with me. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want me to cover future Bedrock betas, then leave a like and subscribe as it really does help out. Let's jump straight to it. The first thing within this actual beta is sniffers can now be bred, and when you actually breed them, as you can see, once they have actually done with their business, they will drop a sniffer egg, as you can see. Sniffer eggs can also be found inside of suspicious sand in warm ocean ruins. Now, this works exactly like Java. If you don't know how it works in Java, planting it on or placing it on any block that isn't moss means it will hatch in about 20 minutes. Placing it on moss blocks means it will hatch in about 10 minutes. Now that's rough, that's roughly the time. It could hatch quicker, it could hatch longer. It does also have states, so eventually over time it will start cracking until it actually then pops out the snifflet. Also alongside this, the sniffers have had a new plant. This one is the pitcher pod. If we quickly just grab a hoe, this works exactly like the actual torch flower. There is a 50-50 chance that the sniffers can dig up the torch flower or the pitcher pod. And what if they do give you the pitcher pod, you plant it in the ground. As you can see, it looks like that. If we quickly just grab some bone meal, when this eventually grows up into its full version, that is what it looks like, as you can see. And then you break it and it will give you this flower. Now, you can break it with your fist, it don't require silk touch or anything, and it can be planted on any block that is grass form, so grass, dirt, moss, any block like that. One thing it cannot do is it cannot be put in actual plant pots like the actual torch flower can. So if we quickly just grab the torch flower, that can go in flower pots. The actual pitcher plant cannot, due to it being too tall. Now, we have got a thing in Bedrock Edition that people have wanted for so long, and that is the ability to put banners on shields. Yes, this is now within the actual Bedrock Edition beta. It will be coming, I think, in 1.20, as this is 1.20 snapshots, although I'm not actually too sure when it will 100% be added to the game. So how you do this is you get yourself a banner, and you basically decorate it how you want. So let's do green diamond. Let's then maybe do a red, border. Let's do a red border, there we go. And then let's finally do a light blue gradient. Let's say this right here is your banner that you want to put on your shield. You then need to grab a crafting table. Obviously, if you're in survival mode, then you can use your inventory to do it. How you do it is you put your shield and your banner, and as you can see, the brown shield. I don't know why it changed the name, that's kind of weird. But it will consume both the banner and the shield, but obviously you do get the shield back, as you can see right here. Now, if I was just to put another banner on here, as you can see, you cannot do that. You can only put one banner per shield. If you want to put a second banner on a different shield, or you wanted to remake the shield, you have to completely craft a new shield and do it like that. I now actually have my shield that is decorated. If I crouch, as you can see, it now has the texture on it, which is really good. This is a thing that has been in Java for quite some time, and people have wanted it in Bedrock for so long. Well, it's now actually within the betas and previews, so you can jump in and mess with it, and you can basically put anything onto a shield as long as it can go on a banner. That also includes the banner patterns, so if I quickly just grab, let's say, the globe pattern, and let's say we want a dark blue globe, so let's quickly just do that. As you can see, we now have that. If we then was to quickly grab ourselves a new shield, which we can do like so. Let's also grab two, because one thing you can actually do is you can put the ominous banner, or the illager banner as it's called in Bedrock, onto a shield as well. And you can also obviously, let's quickly just put a globe one on. As you can see, it's got the globe on. And if we quickly just grab one more shield, if you actually just want to decorate it and let's say you want plain brown, you can also do that, as you can see. So if I quickly just show you, this is the plain brown one, this is the globe, and this is the pillager banner. Now, when you actually put a banner on them, they don't do anything special. It is literally just decoration, so you can show off your cool designs to friends or people within the server with you. Once again, potions and tipped arrows and splash potions and lingering potions have once again had their colors updated to be more different, so you can tell the difference between each potion. This was added a few snaps or a few betas ago, and then it was reverted due to a bug. It has now been re-implemented. The actual minor pottery shard, which is this shard right here, let's quickly just make a pot out of it. This actual shard can now be found when digging inside of the desert temple, when obviously brushing suspicious sand. There's quite a few changes to the brush item. The brush item can now be enchanted with mending, also unbreaking, and also curse of vanishing. And when it has any of these enchantments, obviously the enchantments do what they say. Mending will mend it, unbreaking will stop it from breaking, and also curse of vanishing, if you die you will lose the brush. When also brushing blocks that are not suspicious sand or suspicious gravel, it will now play a generic brushing sound, which for some weird reason we can't actually hear. I do have block sounds on, it's just not playing any sound at all, so I'm guessing that bug wasn't fixed. When using the brush on touch controls, it will now show a tooltip so you know what you're doing. And also when you actually brush an item or a block, it will now use durability when you actually brush rather than when the block gets destroyed. Bamboo wood set now has the same flammability as the other wood types, so the same as oak and all the other woods. This will now burn at the same rate if it was to catch fire or anything. There was also a bug, meaning that when you would actually drop suspicious sand or suspicious gravel on some of these blocks, it would actually drop as an item, meaning you could get the item in survival mode. As you can see, that is no longer the case, and it will now actually just shatter. The rules for placing blocks on top of decorated pots has been matched with Java Edition, so you can no longer place things like buttons, glow lichen, and stuff like that on the top of the pots. You can still place things like the flower pot, so if we was quickly just grab that, things like that can still be placed on top to obviously decorate a bit more. There was a bug inside of the actual cherry grove biome where too tall grass would kind of generate, but invisible due to flower or pink petals being on the bottom half. That's no longer the case. If there is pink petals on a block, grass will no longer be placed on that block. Also, the dandelions can no longer be found within the cherry grove biome, so you'll have to venture back to older biomes to find the actual dandelion. Hanging signs have had a few updates to them. The first one is they've actually reduced the amount of text that can be added to one line of the actual sign. But with this change, the actual font is a lot bigger, so it's more clearly to see. Hanging signs that are placed on the bottom of decorated pots now automatically become the actual V shape. Camels now, when sitting down, will now look straight forward rather than up or down. And also, if they have a passenger on the front, when looking up, their head will no longer clip into the player. There is also a bug with boat or bamboo rafts. The player will now be positioned above the actual raft. I think it's a bit too high, but you'll now be positioned higher in the raft so you're not actually clipping into it. But yeah, I think it's actually, you're positioned a bit too high in the raft, in my opinion. A parity change with Java is glass panes and iron bars will now connect to pistons. I don't know if this actually does anything really, but that is a parity change that has been added. Another actual change for parity is dead bushes can now be placed on grass blocks. And also, no, not mossy, moss blocks. So as you can see, they can now be placed on grass and moss. When actually placing torch flowers down, they will now have a random location on the block. As you can see, it's not always the same. And you can now also compost torch flowers and the seeds. The bee entity will now be tempted by torch flowers, and also they can be bred by torch flowers. Although that don't actually seem to be the case. I'm trying to actually tempt these, and they don't seem to be tempted by the actual torch flowers. So I don't know if that change hasn't actually been implemented properly, but they don't seem to care about them. Apparently they also pollinate on torch flowers as well. That also don't seem to be the case. And the final thing to end off this video, as you can see, there are a load more actual bug fixes and changes. I'm not going to cover them because as you can see, there's absolutely a lot of them. This is, I think, one of the biggest betas I've seen. And there are also a load of technical changes as well, as you can see, starting from this, going all the way down. there is quite a lot of them, which once again I'm not going to cover because there is so many. If you want to read these, the patch notes will be linked in the description so you guys can go and read them yourselves and obviously pick out the things you want. So anyway, if you did enjoy this video, do leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. This is actually quite a big beta, especially shields on banners and also the rest of the sniffer stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.